Welcome to Science Store online classes.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello, dear students. Welcome back to biology online classes. So, we are in the chapter Animal Kingdom under CET and NEET. We are in the last or the concluding part of this particular chapter under CET NEET, that is part 6. So, take out the worksheet which I have provided you, which I sent you. Okay. So, the worksheet what we are discussing is about Animal Kingdom chordate under that section A. So, come to that section A, then we have completed up to questions 20. Let us move to the next question, that is question number 21. Let me read out the question for you. Which fish has an electric organ? Options are A. 1. Torpedo. 2. Pristis. 3. Trigon. 4. Charodon. Now the correct answer is the torpedo, also called as the electric ray fish, because they have electric organs which are made up of cells called as the electrocytes, and which have the capacity to generate an electric volt or electric current of around 8 to around 200 volts. Okay. So, that is present in the torpedo or electric ray fish. So, this electric current is enough to paralyze its prey. Second one, Pristis, it is called as the sawfish because its snout is very elongated and it has got appearance like of a saw, garagasa. Okay, so that is why it is called as carpenter fish also in common, that is Pristis. So the third option, that is Trigon. Trigon is the stingray fish, because if you see their tail region, they have pair of sting at their pelvic fins, okay, at the base, so which secretes poison, and that is enough to paralyze the prey. That is why they are called as stingray fish, that is Trigon. Fourth one is Charodon, that means the great white shark. It is a scientific name for the great white shark. So all these belongs to cartilaginous fishes or the chondrichthyes. So the right option is the option 1 or A. Let us move to question number 22. Which type of scales are found on the skin of the cartilaginous fishes? You have studied about the different types of kinds of scales present in fishes, which acts like an exoskeleton. So the right option here is the type of scales which found in the cartilaginous fishes are the placoid scales, which are the modified teeth and they are directed backwards. So when you touch the surface or the skin of the fish, cartilaginous fishes, that is the fish, cartilaginous fishes like Scoliodon, which having a rough appearance. So they are made up of scales called as the placoid scales. So the right option is the option 2 or B. See the first option, ganoid. Ganoid scales are also called as rhomboid scales because of their rhomboid shape. Then ctenoid, cycloid, all these are found in case of bony fishes. Ganoid, ctenoid, then cycloid, all these scales are found in bony fishes or osteichthyes. Placoid scale is found in cartilaginous fishes or chondrichthyes. Let us move to question number 23. Bony fishes are 1 marine, 2 freshwater dwelling, 3 estuary dweller, 4 both 1 and 2. Yes. Bony fishes can live both in freshwater as well as in marine water, whereas cartilaginous fishes are living in marine water. So the right option is option D or 4, both 1 and 2. Next question number 24. Which of the following belongs to the class osteichthyes, means bony fishes? Okay. Sea urchin, that is Echinodermata, belongs to phylum Echinodermata, and they are invertebrates, not vertebrates. B. Seahorse, it is Hippocampus, it is a bony fish, Osteichthyes. So B is the right option. C. Flying fish, Exocetus, this is also bony fish, correct. D is sawfish, Pristis, belongs to Chondrichthyes or cartilaginous fish. E is the dogfish or Scoliodon, also belongs to the cartilaginous fish. So the right option is B and C, and the option 1 or A holds good for that, B and C. Let's move to question number 25. Air bladder is what? 1. Hydrostatic organ of bony fishes. 2. Excretory organs of mammals. 3. Respiratory organs of birds. 4. Respiratory organ of reptiles. Air bladder, which is meant for giving buoyancy, floating, and thereby it prevents the sinking by the fishes. So it is an hydrostatic organ of the bony fishes. So bony fishes have the ability to avoid sinking, okay, but cartilaginous fishes, they have to swim constantly because they lack what? They lack air bladder. Then excretory organs of mammals are kidneys, respiratory organs of birds are lungs, and respiratory organs of reptiles are also the lungs. So the right option is the option A or 1. Next, question number 26. Air bladder in a fish helps in what? 1. Hydrostasis, that is maintaining buoyancy, that is the right answer. See the second one, respiration, also it helps for respiration, exchange of gases. Third one, for the production of sound, that is also correct. So the right option is the option 4 or D, all of these. Okay. So this air bladder, if you see in fishes, this arises from the gut region or from the alimentary canal and helps for producing the sound, helps for exchange of gases, respiration, as well as for floating to maintain the buoyancy. Next, question number 27. Branch of biology dealing with the study of fishes is 1. Piscology. Piscology is nothing. Ornithology, study of birds. Ichthyology is the study of fishes, because ichthyos means fishes, logos means to study. So study of fishes is called as ichthyology. Then fourth option C, torpidology, it is the study of rays and skates. Rays and skates studies called as torpidology. So the right option is the option C or 3. Next, question number 28. Read the following statements and find out the correct statement. A. Urinary bladder is absent in fishes. Is it correct? Yes, correct. But present in amphibians. Second one, B. Gambusia fish eradicates the mosquito larva. That is also correct. C. Ampulla of Lorenzini present in dogfish acts as thermoreceptors. So ampulla of Lorenzini, it is present in the dogfish, for example, in dogfish, Scoliodon, scientific name. So it is present at the region of their snout, at the dorsal as well as the ventral side, posterior to their eye, and it has the ability to sense the change in the temperature in the surrounding water. So they have thermoreceptors which can detect any sensitive or any change in the small minute change in the temperature in the surrounding water bodies can be sensed or detected by these thermoreceptors which are present in the Scoliodon or dogfish, belongs to cartilaginous fishes. So ampulla of Lorenzini present in the dogfish acts as the thermoreceptors, that is correct. Then electric organs are modified muscles, they are also correct. Electric organs are nothing but they are the modified muscles studied that is present in the torpedo. Torpedo is commonly called as the electric ray fish. It is an example for cartilaginous fish. Next. Now this Gambusia fish eradicates the mosquito larva. It is a carnivorous fish which feeds on the mosquito larvae, and it can be introduced in the places where malaria is prevalent, because malaria is transmitted by the female Anopheles mosquito, which acts like a vector for carrying the agent, that is the plasmodium. It is the disease causing organism is the plasmodium. So all the options A, B, C and D are correct. No option is wrong. So find out the correct statement means A, B, C and D, that is the option 4 or D. Next, question number 29. The fish which shows parental care is 1. Hippocampus. Yes, hippocampus is a bony fish commonly called as the seahorse. You have seen seahorse, no? So because its snout is like a snout of the horse and it lives in the sea, so it is called as the seahorse. Very interestingly, in case of seahorse, the male individual, the male fish, it shows the parental care because it has got a pouch that is called as brood pouch at the belly region. The female comes and lays the eggs in the brood pouch and the male takes the eggs in his brood pouch and it takes care the eggs until it gets hatched out. Okay. So majority in the animal kingdom, the female is the one who shows the parental care because she takes care of the egg, okay, until it hatches. But this is a very interesting phenomena you can see in case of the seahorse or the hippocampus, where the male shows the parental care and not the female. Got it? See the option 2, Gambusia. It is a carnivorous fish we have discussed. Option 3 is Labio. The scientific name is Labio rohita. It is a rohu fish, which is a bony fish. D, that is option 4 is the Scaliodon. It is commonly called as the dog fish because its snout resembles that of the dog. So commonly called as the dog fish. So the right option is the option A or 1, hippocampus. Let's move to question number 30. Heart in amphibians is 1. 2 chambered with 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. It is incorrect. Fishes have 2 chambered heart with a single auricle and single ventricle. Now see the option 2. 3 chambered with 2 auricles and 1 ventricle. That is the right option. So 2 auricles and single ventricle, and this is not a very efficient pumping heart because there is always chance of mixing of oxygenated as well as the deoxygenated blood in the ventricle. So the frog, which belongs to amphibians, have 3 chambered heart. See the option 3. 3 chambered with 1 auricle and 2 ventricles. It is wrong. 2 auricle and 1 ventricle always. See the option D or 4. 4 chambered with 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. You can see in case of crocodiles, birds and mammals. Let's move to question number 31. Which of the feature is not present in the amphibia? Amphibians means Ubhayavasigalu in Kannada. 1. Scales are present. That is the wrong answer. The scales are present in case of reptiles, hence make the skin very rough. But in case of amphibians, the scales are absent. So the body is very smooth to touch. So skin is smooth. So the right answer here is the option A or 1. See the option 2. Most of them have 2 pairs of limbs for locomotion. That is correct. Eyes have eyelids which protect the amphibians when they are underwater against the mud or the dust particles. And see the option 4. Organisms are cold-blooded. They are called as the poikilotherms because they don't have the ability to maintain the constant body temperature or to regulate the constant body temperature, and their body temperature tends to change according to the surrounding or the ambient temperature. Okay, number 32. Which of the following is true for all the amphibians? Should be true for all the amphibians without any exception. 1. All have tail. No, all don't have tail. There are amphibians which are tailless amphibians called as the Anurans. We studied, belongs to order Anura. Frogs, toads, they don't have tail. Similarly, there are amphibians which belongs to the order Apoda, means they don't have limbs, so they are the limbless amphibians. Similarly, there are tailed amphibians which belongs to the order Urodila. Example is Salamandra. Salamander, they are having tail. So all have tail is the incorrect. Excretory organ by kidney. excretion by kidneys, that is correct. So option 2 is the right answer. See the option 3, alimentary canal and urinary and reproductive tracts open into different chambers to the excretory, to the exterior. Exterior means outside. No, alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tracts open into the common chamber, that is called as the cloaca, and this cloaca will open into the exterior by an opening that is called as the cloacal aperture. Okay. Next, option 4, heart is 3 chambered with 2 ventricles. No, heart is 3 chambered with 2 auricles and a single ventricle. Next, question number 33. Warty, rough and dry skin is characteristic of 1, toad, 2, frog, 3, ichthyophis, 4, both 1 and 2. Warty means having irregular surface, rough and dry skin, characteristics of toad. Okay. So if you see the toad, they have irregular surface. On the ventral side, the color is usually dull, pale. Okay, but on the dorsal surface, it is spotted brown. But if you see the skin of frog, it is moist and slimy. Similarly, ichthyophis, limbless amphibian, their skin is also moist and shiny. So the right option is the option A or 1. Next, question number 34. Poison secreting parotid glands occurs in 1, ichthyophis, 2, rana, 3, bufo, 4, salamandra. Poison secreting parotid glands occurs in. So poison means the milky poisonous fluid, okay, which the animal use for defense purpose, and they are present at the cheek region, okay, and they are in pairs and present in case of that is poison secreting parotid glands. Bufo is the right answer, option 3 or C. Okay. So Rana tigrina, it is the Indian bullfrog, ichthyophis is the limbless amphibian, and salamandra or salamander, it is the tailed amphibian. Next, question number 35. Axolotl is the larva of 1, silkworm, 2, ambystoma, 3, amphioxus, 4, roundworm. Axolotl is the larva of ambystoma, option 2, ambystoma. So axolotl larva, it belongs to the order Urodila, means tailed amphibian. So ambystoma, it is a tailed amphibian, and the larva shows a phenomena called as pedogenesis. What is that called as? Pedogenesis. Note down. Now what do you mean by pedogenesis? Pedogenesis means here the larva itself is mature, sexually it is mature. The larva itself is sexual mature. Okay, usually the adults shows the sexual maturity. No, here in case of this, it is the larva which is sexually mature. That is called as pedogenesis, and they shows the sexual reproduction. Now what do you mean amphioxus? Amphioxus also called as lancelet or branchiostoma, which belongs to subphylum Cephalochordata. Cephalic means head region. So they have the notochord from the head to the tail region. They retain the notochord. Okay. So they retain the notochord throughout their life. So what is the larva of that amphioxus is called as? This is called as ammothete larva. Ammothete is the larva of amphioxus. This is the larva of amphioxus or lancelet. This is also called as branchiostoma, which belongs to the subphylum Cephalochordata. Subphylum Cephalochordata. Next, roundworms. Roundworms are belongs to phylum Aschelminthus. Okay. Next, 36, amphibian with the no teeth in jaw. Amphibian, but they don't have any teeth in the jaw. Teeth is absent. Okay. So 1 Salamandra, 2 Bufo, 3 Rana, 4 Ichthyophis. Amphibians with no teeth, that is Bufo. Teeth are absent in both the jaws in case of Bufo. Upper jaws as well as the lower jaws. Both jaws, they don't have any teeth. So option 2. Next, question number 37. Ambystoma shows, just now we discussed. Ambystoma, it shows phenomena called as pedogenesis. Ambystoma means the larva is sexually matured and the adult retains the larval characters. That is called as neoteny. Neoteny means the adults retaining the larval character, that is called as the neoteny. So they shows both pedogenesis as well as the neoteny. So the right option is the option 3, both 1 and 2. Both 1 and 2. Right. Next, question number 38. All of them are characters of reptiles except one. Lizards shed their scales as skin cast, and yes, that is called as the ecdysis. They will remove their outermost or external coating, that is called as the ecdysis. In Kannada it is called as pare kalachuvike, ecdysis, or also called as molting. And the hormone ecdysone is responsible for the process of ecdysis. Right. See the second option. Scutes are present on their body. Scutes or bony plates present on their body. It's correct. See the third option. Heart is 3-chambered in all reptiles. No. Crocodiles are the exceptions. In crocodiles, heart is not 3-chambered, it is 4-chambered with 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Next, see, they are poikilotherms. Yes, they are all cold-blooded. So option 1, 2 and 4 are correct. Option 3 is incorrect. Next, question number 39. Which among the following has 4-chambered heart? Just now I told. It is Crocodylus, scientific name of crocodiles. They are having 4-chambered heart, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Although they are reptiles, they don't have 3-chambered, they have 4-chambered heart. Exception, very important. Alligator, Vipera. Vipera means viper, Kannadi how. Testudo means tortoise. Hemidactylus means the wall lizard. Hemidactylus flaviviridis, that is the scientific name. Right. Question number 40. Which among the following is an exception of possessing 3-chambered heart? Exception of having 3-chambered heart means they have 4-chambered heart. So once again here the answer is alligator. Alligator belongs to similar order to which crocodiles belongs to. Crocodiles belongs to the order Crocodilia. So alligator also belongs to the same order to which the crocodile belongs, that is Crocodilia. So crocodiles have 4-chambered heart. So even the alligators, they have 4-chambered heart. So that is the right option, option 1. See, Testudo is the tortoise, Helone is the turtle and Bangaras is the crate, Kattehav. Okay, question number 41. Which among them has the moderately long and pointed snout and is very aggressive and dangerous for man? 1 crocodile, 2 alligator, C Gavialis, 4 salamandra. The right option is option 1 or A crocodile. So if you see the crocodile, it is more aggressive and more dangerous to man, whose snout is moderately long and pointed, not very long, it is moderately long and pointed. Okay, let's write the differences between crocodiles, alligators Gavialis and Salamandra. So students, you make 4 columns. How many columns? You make 4 columns, and in the first column you write crocodiles. First column crocodile. Second column you write alligator. Third Gavialis, and the fourth Salamandra. Okay. So first difference, more aggressive and dangerous to man, crocodile. More aggressive and dangerous to man. Whereas the second is alligator, less aggressive and attacks only when provoked, otherwise they will not attack. So third one, Gavialis. Now this particular Gavialis, they are having very narrow snout. They are having narrow snout, and they eat only fish. They will not attack the humans. They eat what? Fish. Next, Salamandra. They are not dangerous. Not dangerous. See, all the first 3, crocodile, alligator, Gavialis, belongs to reptilia class. Salamandra belongs to class amphibia. Next, let's move to the second difference, crocodile. Snout moderately long and pointed. Snout moderately long and pointed. Under alligator, snout is broad and rounded. Snout is broad and rounded. Under Gavialis, very long and slender. Snout is very long and slender. Then under Salamandra, do Salamandra have any snout? No snout at all. No snout at all. Okay, so now you just study the different characteristic features and identify the right option. So the right option is for question number 41, option A or 1, crocodile. Let's move to question number 42. Which among them is a living fossil? Living fossil means the ancestors or the members of this particular organism existing from millions of years back, okay, and most of them are died, and this is the only remaining thing or organism. So that is why it is called as the living fossil. Fossil means a study of paleontology. Paleontology is a branch of biology which deals with the study of fossils. Fossils means very old or ancient things which are excavated from the earth. You have to study from how long they became extinct, okay, and what time they used to exist on the earth. So that study, that's called as paleontology, study of fossils. So here the living fossil, identify the living fossil. The options are 1, Hydrophis, 2, Archaeopteryx, 3, Sphenodon, 4, Vipera. Vipera is not a living fossil. Vipera means viper, Kannadi how. It is still living, and many members or ancestors are also still existing on the earth. Then which hydrophis? Hydrophis is a snake, sea snake it is. Okay, that is not a living fossil. See the second option, Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is connecting link between birds and reptiles because they have the characters of both birds and reptiles. Now what are the bird or avian characters? For example, they have very long tail, and tail are covered with feathers which make the body light. Okay, and they have boat shaped body which offers minimum resistance while traveling in the air like birds. They have beak. Okay, presence of beak. These all makes the avian character. They can fly. Okay, they have wings. Then what are the reptilian characters? The beaks are provided with teeth. Presence of teeth is a reptilian character. Then presence of scales on the body, which is also a reptilian character. Okay, so they are said to be the connecting link between the birds and the reptiles. That is the Archaeopteryx. It is not at all living, it is the extinct form, no more exist. So the right option is the option 3 or C, that is Sphinodon. Sphinodon, it belongs to the order Rhynchocephalia. Sphinodon belongs to the order Rhynchocephalia. Let me erase this. Sphinodon belongs to order Rhynchocephalia. Note down the spelling. Rhynchocephalia. So this Sphinodon is also called by the common name Tuatara. What? Tuatara. So this is a living fossil because their ancestors are all died, but this particular organism is still living. Okay, and their ancestors were existing say, million years ago. So that is why it is called as the living fossil, that is Sphinodon. One of the important characteristic feature of this Tuatara or Sphinodon is the presence of pineal eye. This is also called as the third eye. What is that? Pineal eye or the third eye, which does not have any function. So it is rudimentary, reduced. Pineal eye. So it is belongs to reptiles. Okay. So it is called as the stem reptile. Stem reptile means it is an old reptile. Stem reptile. So that is about Sphinodon. Let's move to question number 43. Study of lizards is known as A. 1. Saurology. 2. Serpentology. 3. Ophiology. 4. Ornithology. Okay. Study of lizards is called as saurology. Option A or 1. Lizard study, saurology. Option 2, serpentology, it means study of snakes. Ophiology also means the same, study of snakes. And ornithology means study of birds. Question number 44, choose the correct statement. 1. Lizards show autotomy. What do you mean by autotomy? Voluntarily breaking off their tail to confuse their prey, and this cut tail can regenerate, and that process is called as autotomy. Auto means self, autotomy. They have the ability to do self regenerate their cut part, that is tail. If you cut the head of the lizard, will they live? No, they will die, isn't it? Don't cut the head. Just you cut a specific part of the body, that is the tail. If you cut the tail, and it will regenerate. That process is called as the autotomy. Okay, second one. Most lizards are oviparous. Yes, oviparous means egg laying. They lay eggs. Okay. Next, see the third one. Poison gland in snakes are modified parotid glands. Yes, poison glands are nothing but a pair of parotid glands which are present at the region of cheek. And option 4 is all of this. So, all of this is the right option. Question number 45. Which of the following is a viviparous lizard? Most of the lizards, they are oviparous. They lay eggs. But there are exceptions in animal kingdom. Some lizards, they will not lay eggs. They will directly give birth to the young ones. So, they are called as the viviparous. What is the example for that? The right option is chameleon. Chameleon. Okay. First one is the uromastyx. That is not viviparous, that is oviparous. Third option is hydrophis. Hydrophis is not a lizard, it is a snake. So, the right option is chameleon. Okay. You see chameleon in mainly in the gardens and all, which have the ability to change their color, isn't it? Kannada it is called as Usaravalli. It is chameleon. Okay. One more example I will give you for this. There is a lizard called as horn-toed lizard. What is called as horn-toed lizard? Because the size is very huge, it's very thick it is. Okay. So, it looks like a size of a toad, it looks like a toad. So, it is called as horn-toed lizard. Horn, because if you see their skin, it is very rough and warty, having irregular surface. So, it is called as the horn-toed lizard. And this is also an example for viviparous. Means they directly give birth to the young ones without laying eggs. Horn-toed lizard. So, the scientific name is Phrynosoma. Scientific name is Phrynosoma. Next, question number 46. The sound producing organ of bird is? Birds produce sound, beautiful sound, pleasant to hear, and that is by an organ called as syrinx. So, the right option is the option 2 or B, that is syrinx. In human beings, we have larynx. Larynx is called as the sound box, have the ability to produce the sound. We produce the sound through the larynx. Okay. Next, oropharynx. Oro means oral, refers to the mouth. Nasopharynx, nasal region, nose region. So, in birds, if you see the diagram here, this is the windpipe, it is called as the trachea, and this windpipe gets branched like this, and this branches to form structure called as the bronchiole. So, this is the trachea. What is this branch? That is called as the bronchiole. And at the junction of this trachea and bronchiole, there is a structure which has the ability to produce the sound, and this structure is called as the syrinx or the sound box. You can see in case of birds. Next, question number 47. Read the following statement and choose the correct characteristic feature of aves. 1. Skin of birds have glands. No, wrong. The birds don't have any glands on their skin. Second one, air sacs helps in excretion. No, air sacs are the additional cavities which are attached to the lungs and helps for respiration and not for the excretion. Next, option 3, heart is having 3 auricles and 1 ventricle. Wrong. Heart is 4 chambered, of course, but they don't have 3 auricles, they have 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. And the option 4 is preen gland is present at the base of the tail. What is another name for preen gland? The another name for the preen gland is oil gland. Preen gland, also called as the oil gland, or also called as sebaceous gland, also called as sebaceous gland. And they secrete oily secretion which is called as the sebum. So if you take our skin, human skin, we are also having oily gland or sebaceous gland in the skin region, and it will open to the hair follicles. So preen gland in birds, they helps for the lubrication of the feathers. That means they will prevent wetting of feathers, maybe due to rainwater or some reasons. Okay. So lubrication of feathers, and it is an exocrine gland because they have what? Ducts. So the glands which are having ducts are called as exocrine glands. The gland which does not have any ducts, they are called as the endocrine glands or ductless glands. So here read the following statement and choose the correct characteristic of aves. Is preen gland is present at the base of the tail, that is option 4 or D. Let's move to the next question, question number 48. Choose the option which comprises of oviparous animals, means oviparous animals means which directly lay the eggs. 1. Ostrich, eagle, whale. Ostrich and eagle, of course, birds. Birds are oviparous, they lay eggs. But whale is not a bird, whale is a mammal. Mammals give birth to the young ones. Okay. Second one, bat. Bat is a mammal. Pigeon is a bird. Crow is a bird. One is mammal, so that is not the right option. Kite, platypus, kangaroo. Kite, platypus, kangaroo. Kite is a bird. Platypus, of course, it is a mammal, but it lays eggs. It is an exception in mammal. But kangaroo, it will never lay eggs. It is giving birth to the young ones. So that is not the right option. See the option 3. Parrot, bird. Vulture, bird. Sparrow, bird. All lay eggs. So that is the right option. That is option 3. Question number 49. Largest living flightless bird is. Largest living flightless bird is 1. Eagle, 2. Rhea, 3. Hummingbird, ostrich. Hummingbird is the smallest bird. Ostrich is the largest bird which cannot fly. So it is mainly found in the region of African continent. So the ostrich, it belongs to an order that is called as Ratitae. What is the name of the order? Ratitae, ostrich. So class Aves, order Ratitae. And class Neornithis. Class Neornithis. Neornithis means, neo means new. Ornithen means bird. Ornithology means study of birds. Neo means new. They are belonging to the modern birds. So they belong to the class Neornithis. Otherwise, birds belongs to class Aves. So, but this particular ostrich, flightless birds, belongs to the class Neornithis, and the order, it is Ratitae. Okay. Then Rhea. Rhea is the flightless birds, but it is seen in South America. Next, eagle. Eagle is the flying bird. It is not a flightless bird. Okay, let's move to question number 50. All of the following avian characters are correct except all bird characters are correct. Except 1. Bones do not have bone marrow. Correct. So they are hollow, called as pneumatic bones. 2. Scales are present only in the hind limb region. That is also correct. In order to reduce the body weight, they have presence of scales only in the hind limb region. 3. In females, the right ovary is atrophied. Atrophied means degenerated, lost. So that is also correct. Only left ovary is present and the right ovary is atrophied because to reduce the body weight. Next, fourth one, beak possesses homodont teeth. In birds, do they have any teeth in the beak? No. So no teeth at all. So there is no question of homodont or heterodont teeth. Homodont teeth means similar kind of teeth. Heterodont teeth means different kinds of teeth. So why the teeth are absent? Once again, it is the flight adaptation in order to reduce the body weight, so that body becomes light so that they can fly easily to a distance. Correct. So that is the right option, option D or 4. Beak possesses homodont teeth. It is the incorrect statement. Human beings, we have heterodont teeth, and you know our dental formula is 2, 1, 2, 3. Canines, incisors, premolars and molars. Let's move to question number 52. 51 I will discuss at the end. Move to 51, 52. 1. These aves are ammonotelic. Ammonotelic means they excrete ammonia as their excretory product. No. Second one, uricotelic means they excrete the nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid. That is correct. So they are called as uricotelic. Next, 3, ureotelic means they excrete the nitrogenous waste in the form of urea. That is the right option. That is why they are called as ureotelic. But birds, they excrete the nitrogenous waste in the form of uric acid pellets with minimum loss of water. Okay. So hard solid pellets they discharge. That is called as what? Uric acid pellets. So the right option is the option B or 2. Next, question number 53. A mammal which lays eggs instead of giving birth to the offspring is mammal. Mammals are usually give birth to the young ones, but here the mammals which lay eggs. Example for that is option 3 or C. Duck-billed platypus. Scientific name is the Ornithorhynchus. Duck-billed platypus. It is an exception. Another example is echidna. That is the tiny anteater for oviparous. Not rabbit, nor macropus or kangaroo, not whale. Blue whale scientific name is Balanoptera. Question number 54. Point out the mammalian characters. Which is the characteristic feature of mammals? 1. Presence of diaphragm. Diaphragm means is the organ which separates the chest from the stomach. In Kannada it is called as vape. Udara mattu ede bhagavannu ಬೇರ್ಪಡಿಸುವ ಅಂಗ. That is called as vape, diaphragm. Characteristic feature of the mammals. 4-chambered heart with 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. Correct. Presence of lungs for breathing, respiration. That is correct. So the right option is the option A or 1. See the option 2. Hairy skin. Skin is having hairs. Correct. Viviparity, but all are not viviparity. Some are, exceptions are there. Some are oviparous. And feathers, we don't have feathers. Mammals don't have feathers. Birds have feathers. So second option is incorrect. See the third option. Fins. Fins are having only the birds. The birds have the fins. Gills. Gills for respiration. That is present in fishes. But larvae of amphibians, toads, that is called as tadpole. They also have gills for respiration. Respiration through gills is called as brachial respiration. Not in mammals. And then viviparity, not all are viviparous. Option 4, neural gland, gills, 4-chambered heart. Gills wrong, 4-chambered heart is correct. Neural gland is wrong. Neural gland, you take down, it is a glandular mass seen in Ascidians, Ascidia, Salpa, Doliolum, all belongs to subphylum Urochordata. Uro means tail. So they possess the notochord only at the tail region. So they are called as urochords, Urochordata. So it is a glandular mass in ascidians that lies in close relation to the nerve ganglion. Ganglion means mass of nerve cells. So where they are present in close relation to the nerve ganglion and is possibly homologous with the pituitary body in vertebrates. Homologous means what? Different functions, but they have similar origin and structures. Those organs are called as the homologous organs. So their structure or origin is similar to that of pituitary, which is seen in case of in the body of vertebrates. So that is the neural gland. So neural gland is a glandular mass in ascidians or urochordates that lies in close relation to the nerve ganglion and is possibly homologous with the pituitary body of vertebrates. Next, question number 55. The following statements regarding mammals are correct except cloaca is present, correct. All are correct, mammals are correct except one is incorrect. Okay. Cloaca is present? No, cloaca is absent. Cloaca is a common chamber which is present in case of amphibians as well as in reptiles. It's a common opening for the release of gametes as well as for the urine as well as for the undigested fecal matter. So that is seen in case of reptiles or amphibians. Second, external ear pinna is present, that is correct. Non-nucleated RBC does not have a nucleus, that is correct. Excrete urea, that is also correct. So they are called as ureotelic animals, that is also correct option. So the right option is the option A. Cloaca is not present, it is absent. So following statement is incorrect, that is cloaca is present. Okay, so we'll come to the last question that I have left, question number 51. Now this, see. Tail vertebrae of birds are fused to form 1. Pygostyle, 2. Coccyx, 3. Urostyle, 4 is synsacrum. Now let me explain this part. Now if you see the vertebral column in case of birds, vertebral column, so they have different vertebrae at the different regions of the vertebral column, which are list one by one. First one is the cervical vertebrae. Cervical vertebrae means they are present at the region of neck. Then they have thoracic vertebrae. Thoracic vertebrae means they are present at the region of thorax. Next they have lumbar vertebrae. Lumbar vertebrae means they are present at the region of backbone, at the posterior part, posterior region of the backbone. Then comes the sacral. Sacral means they are present at the pelvic region, Sontadatra, pelvic bone, pelvis. So that is the sacral bone is the pelvic bone or the sacral vertebrae. And the fifth one, that is the caudal vertebrae. Caudal vertebrae, it is commonly called as the tail vertebrae. It is present at the tail region. So note down this. So tail bone or caudal bone. So tail bone in man, tail bone in man, it is called as coccyx. What is called as coccyx or coccygeal bone or coccygeal bone. It's the tail bone in case of man or humans. Man means not only man, also in woman. So I'll write it as in humans. So tailbone in humans is called as coccyx or coccygeal bone. So There are cervical vertebrae present at the neck region, thoracic vertebrae at the thorax region, lumbar vertebrae, there is a posterior backbone, sacral pelvic bone, caudal, that is the tailbone. So these are the different vertebrae from which the vertebral column of birds is made up of. Okay, now see the question. Tail vertebrae of birds are fused to form a structure that is called as synsacrum. Tail vertebrae or the caudal vertebrae, they are fused in birds and they form a structure called as pygostyle. It is called as the pygostyle. So the right answer is the option 1 or A, that is pygostyle. So there are around say 3 to 4 tail vertebrae. 3 to 4 tail vertebrae, they are fused and to form a structure called as pygostyle in case of birds. So I told caudal vertebrae or tail vertebrae is there at the tail region. So how many? 3 or 4 these tail vertebrae are fused to form a structure called as the pygostyle in case of birds. So what is urostyle? Urostyle means it is a long bone formed from fused vertebrae at the base of the vertebral column in some lower vertebrates, especially in case of frogs and toads. So what is urostyle? It is a long bone formed from fused vertebrae at the base of the vertebral column in lower vertebrates, especially frogs and toads. That is called as the urostyle. Then what is the last option? For synsacrum. So synsacrum is a skeletal structure of birds in which the sacrum is extended by incorporation of sacrum. You can see here the sacral vertebrae. The sacrum is extended by incorporation of additional fused or partially fused caudal or lumbar vertebrae. So here the sacral vertebrae is partially fused either with the lumbar vertebrae or with the caudal vertebrae, and it forms a structure that is called as synsacrum, and it can be seen only in case of birds. Okay. So the synsacrum is the region where the sacral vertebrae in case of birds only, they are fused or partially fused either with the lumbar vertebrae or with the caudal vertebrae. That forms a structure called as synsacrum. Syn means fused to the sacral bone, so it is called as synsacrum. So students, here we have studied pygostyle means the fused tail vertebrae, then coccyx means it is the tail bone seen in case of humans. Synsacrum means the fused vertebrae where the sacral bone is fused partially or completely with the lumbar vertebrae or with the caudal vertebrae. And the next option, that is the urostyle. Urostyle means you can see in case of frogs and toads, which is the long bone formed from fused vertebrae at the base of the vertebral column in some lower vertebrates. So students, with this we have completed all the worksheets of the chapter Animal Kingdom. So take down whatever the points I have written on the board, as well as also take down my lecture notes, and thank you students for watching the video.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.